Smart speaker technology is taking off in Canada, and it's the next place you should consider advertising in. To talk more about this new ad tech, I've got Charles Cadbury joining me today. He's the CEO of Say It Now, an award-winning leader in voice commerce technology. Charles, thanks for joining me.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks very much for having me on.
Charles, it's been an interesting year, to say the least. How have you been, and how has 2020 been treating you in the last few months?
So personally, it's been quite nice. You know, I tend to be a glass half full kind of guy and look for the opportunities that, life throws at us. And we've got 3 young kids. We've got 2 twin 6-year-old boys and a 5-year-old girl. So it's busy at home. And so we were locked in with them for 3 months. And it was the first 3 months, I think, in our lives together. We spent every meal, kind of breakfast, lunch and dinner, all around the table together, talking, chatting, laughing, crying, telling jokes. And that's been kind of very, very nourishing, but we had to mix it up. And so not being allowed to travel, we traveled the world, right? So the kids have an atlas and they would choose different places that we could visit, and they'd point at places, and they want to experience that. So we then got dressed up every Saturday in the clothes of that particular nation, cooked the food of that nation. The parents had cocktails from that particular country, and we kind of researched them on a kind of big screen in the background. We had kind of drone footage of those places. So I feel like I've traveled the world this year, and then professionally, it's been awesome. So we'll kind of get onto this in a sec. But we applied in April. There was in the UK a grant for they were looking for innovative solutions to economic challenges that were going to be caused by COVID. And we, for a long time, had wanted to really kind of amplify what we could do within the world of smart speakers. And we saw a big problem with charitable donations. And so we've done a huge kind of e-commerce, voice commerce, project around that. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
So what is voice commerce, and how did this all come about for you?
In 2015, I found myself consulting with an enterprise travel software business, and they were asking the question, how are people going to book an airline ticket in a 10-year horizon? Now, I'd been really taken with this idea of this, these smart speakers had come out. I'd always been a science fiction fan, and I knew that the future was us talking to our technology. So to get the opportunity in 2015 to kind of do a proof of concept to show that you could book an airline ticket using just your voice was really exciting. So we did that. Then 2016, we launched the first ever in-room concierge with Marriott into Marriott hotels, so that you, instead of having to pick up the guest directory, could get this information directly from the smart speaker. And I think that's what really kind of got us early understanding as to what we should be looking out for with this new channel. And I think that it's useful to draw parallels to what's come before. So when the internet really started to gain popularity in about 2000, we had the steep rise in e-commerce, and that was for specific tasks, it was easier for you to go to your desktop or your laptop to make purchases than going to bricks and mortar. Then about 10 years later, when mobiles came out, and mobile smartphones really started to grow, then there was an argument for mobile commerce. Right? It took a little while to develop and for trust to be there. I remember a load of people saying, I'll never do banking on my phone. But that trust then developed. And for specific tasks, there are certain tasks which were easier to do on your mobile than on the web, or by going to kind of bricks and mortar. And that's the way to think about voice right now. And, we've had like a good 5 years really ranging, looking for the opportunities about, the specific tasks which are more frictionless for you to then, complete just using your voice, rather than going to a screen-based device. And so it's those opportunities that we're really kind of blowing open right now.
Voice commerce is designed to be a frictionless interaction with brand and consumer. What does that look like or sound like? Paint us a picture.
So we did we managed to, got funding from Innovate UK. We managed to do a media partnership with with Europe's biggest radio company called Global. They agreed to give us 16 million impressions to run across kind of 4 campaigns with 4 different charities on their radio network, specifically targeting people listening to radio on their smart speakers. So if you're driving in your car listening to Classic FM, you will not hear this radio ad, but if you're at home listening on a smart speaker, you do. And so because we know people are listening at home, we're able to be very kind of neat with the creative, and we can say things like, we know you're listening at home, and you're probably baking or tidying up or just having a good time. Many homes aren't this pleasant to be in, probably even on this street. We are the NSPCC, which is a child protection charity. We get a call every 15 minutes, and we need your help now more than ever. If you would like to support, please just ask your device to open NSPCC now. And me, as the listener, I'm inspired to say something like, Alexa, open NSPCC.
Welcome to the NSPCC, the UK's leading children's charity, working to protect children today and prevent abuse from happening tomorrow. Would you like to donate, find out more about NSPCC, or learn about the pants rule?
Donate £2.
I heard £2. Is that correct?
Yes.
Amazon Pay will be used for your payment. £2 will be paid using Amazon Pay.
Wow.
Thank you. Your donation is complete. You're helping NSPCC protect children.
Wow.
So you can see, from a frictionless perspective, it's a far quicker basket checkout than you'd get by directing people to a website, a microsite to complete their transaction. And it's a really trusted environment. So when we were setting this up, so we've got the leading charities in the UK running a kind of full month test, September to December, which will deliver us at the end of December. We'll kick out a white paper in January. We believe this is the largest ever global trial of in-stream audio campaigns driving to a transactional campaign endpoint. And so we know we're in a trusted environment within this radio station. These are people's loved radio stations. They've got it in the background all the time. And then we're using kind of famous actors. I can't tell you who, you've got to listen to the collateral we put out, but kind of Hollywood actors and famous actors who then are delivering these audio ads, and then you're going to a trusted Amazon environment, right? And so what I've just got through to my email right now is an Amazon receipt, the same format as if I'd bought a packet of batteries, right? So that's then happened, the customers that are doing this for the first time, they can see it's end-to-end, very, very trusted.
Wow, that is pretty impressive. I mean, from the consumer's perspective, there was zero friction there. For the brand, what type of insights would you provide?
Also, for the first time, we're able to deliver end-to-end campaign attribution in audio. So in the world of radio or in-stream audio, it's very hard to see how well your campaign has performed because you're kicking it off to another endpoint. And so we're able to know exactly when that audio impression served, exactly when that back and forward conversation then is kind of completed within the voice environment, and then where it ends up is in terms of a transaction, which is really cool within our data studio.
Yeah, that's really impressive, especially with a lot of folks working from home like myself. It enables us to just get everything done from one spot, just talking to the assistant.
The clues in the name, these are called voice assistants, and as they get better and better, like they will, like your mobile phone got better and better over the last 10 years, this has happened, and it's happening with your devices. They are going to stay with you more and more. They're going to jump into your AirPods. They're going to be in your car. You're going to be able to access this and really delegate tasks in a meaningful and trusted way to these assistants. So, working on projects to hook in services. So, there will be a point, we're trying to work with a company right now, that I'd be able to say, Alexa, book us a babysitter for Friday night. The pubs are open again. We're going back out, and being able to meaningfully delegate those kind of tasks.
That's actually a really good example to real life application of voice assistants. Now, how can retailers and brands, bring the in-store experience to the consumer's home and further that?
So let's talk about whiskey. I mean, one of our first clients was Diageo, right? And they wanted to see how they could, really kind of disrupt the in-store environment, right? Because they took us to a store and look at this shopping, like it's a supermarket. There's 100 whiskeys on the shelf. Which one do you choose? They're like, how do we stand out? And one of the ways that they wanted to stand out was by putting a sticker, an actual kind of physical sticky sticker on the box of whiskey. And so we tested it with Talisker, where they put it, if you buy this box of whiskey, it comes with a free tasting experience powered by Alexa, right? And so we did that. We kind of ran a trial Christmas 18, and then that proved out. And then we kind of did a much larger trial. We launched this in 50 supermarkets, and then saw year-on-year sales to see how they compared just by putting this label on the bottle. And what that label did, if you went home and you said, Alexa, open Talisker tasting, you would literally be transported to the Isle of Skye, to where they make this kind of whiskey, and you get kind of 3 different options. You can understand how to create cocktails, which I think is kind of something that should be discouraged with this kind of whiskey. Anyway, or how to taste, the subtle notes of the whiskey or the heritage of the brand. Wow. We managed from the first iteration of that kind of branded experience, we're getting an average kind of engagement time of about 3.5 minutes. And now that's moved up to a 7.5-minute average dwell time, average engagement time. So this is really, how do you, answering the question here, how do you create brand ambassadors? How do you kind of get people to engage on a really kind of deep level with your product at home?
Now, this all sounds like it's kind of out of an episode of Star Trek. But, the application for this type of technology, my mind's running. I'm thinking CPG, I'm thinking retail, I'm thinking food. There's so many ways that this could be used.
Like that's the inspiration. Like Bezos, he admits that he's a big Star Trek fan. Yeah. And the inspiration for Alexa was exactly, it was the computer aboard the Enterprise. And so that's what's where this is all going.
See, now you're talking about the future I want to live in.
It's coming. Well, so I've got this kind of utopian idea, right, of myself on my 70th birthday. If the assistants do what I think they're going to do and meaningfully improve my life, take away what I call this kind of admin scum that I have to do manually myself, right? I can start to delegate more and more of that to my assistant. Then there will have been opportunities for my assistant to look at my friends and family's calendars, find serendipitous opportunities for us to go to, that holiday to Mauritius that I would never have got around to booking myself. But if it's all kind of taken away, that admin has gone away, then I will have lived a kind of a fuller, more rewarding life, and I've had more and better quality memories to look back on, and those will be the stories I'm telling my grandchildren when I'm 70. So I'm relatively optimistic about the benefits these can deliver to us as a race.
Now, there's a lot of people at home because of everything that's happening right now. Have you noticed an uptick in usage, and how are people using smart speakers now?
Because you're exactly right. We've seen kind of month on month increases in the amount of streaming audio that is being consumed. We're seeing huge spikes in behavior, and between 18 to 34-year-olds are 50% up on asking their smart speakers for important advice about news and world events. And this is only further embedding this trust. But we have been really really well schooled and kind of now able to really package this up. And with all the kind of brands we've got coming through and advertising in this way, it becomes this kind of normal. Everyone else is doing it. Remember the first Uber that you ordered, right? Someone else had probably done that before you, and you wanted to see it, and then you never look back. Yeah. That's kind of the moment we're getting to here with voice.
So I'm a brand here in Canada interested in advertising on smart speakers. How do I get started? What does that process look like?
So it's relatively simple. So just think about how you would work with a partner to create a microsite, right? We've got a few templated experiences, from a brand response, brand experience for fully transactional or lead generation. And then we work with a very short kind of hour-long requirement gathering type workshop. We understand, what the campaign goals are and exactly what we can add to this, and what kind of response we need to deliver. And then depending on the relationship with the media agency or the kind of the partner, we work either alongside them to think about how to plan the right kind of execution of the campaign, or let other people plan that media.
Yeah, and for a lot of brands, this is relatively new tech to be advertising on. What are some of the advantages to getting started in smart speaker advertising today?
To be first, you get almost twice the benefit of the campaign in free PR. So that kind of comms exposure, right? You become the sector first, the innovative brand. You get all that kind of uplift for these kind of campaigns by being first, and that brand equity grows. You also don't just have this campaign which is being delivered in the world of voice. So once you've got that experience live, we then work with you to optimize that to help you get organic voice search traffic. So at the moment, you've got to say, device open my particular branded experience. What's coming through is something which is called name-free skill invocation. And that's a bit like organic search. So you would say, Alexa, I want to know how to best taste whiskey from the Isle of Skye. And she will then go and see what skills are being produced which have marked they are the best in the world at delivering to that response. And then they'll see how many times they've been used and what rating that skill has got. So by putting your kind of market in the sand, you start to be recognized by these platforms, and you're more likely that the experience that you've created will be surfaced in a organic voice search world.
Is voice technology taking over? Is this the future of how brands will be engaging with audiences?
There will be certain tasks which will be terrible to try and achieve just using voice. But for the use cases which provide genuine utility and reduce friction, that's where the huge opportunities are, and they are bountiful.
Charles, where can people go if they want to learn more about Say It Now, your technology, and about yourself?
Our website is sayitnow.ai. You can catch me at Charles Cadbury on Twitter, or look for me, Charlie Cadbury, on LinkedIn, and I'm relatively approachable. Come say hi.
To learn more about branded voice experiences in Canada, go to apexmobilemedia.com or click the link in the description. Charles, thank you very much for joining me. This was awesome, and it was a pleasure.
Pleasure. I will be back.